Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hey Descendants and Zombies universe, I'm your host Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants and Zombies. So proud to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies, and so excited for the summer of 2026 because not only do we have Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland on the way out for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, but we have Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide Leg 2 happening sometime between now and late 2026, which means that the stars of Descendants and Zombies franchises will be heading overseas to expand the global market for the Disney company, which means they will be heading over to Germany. They'll be heading into the United Kingdom. They'll be headed to Australia. And I, for one, am incredibly excited for every single person who believed in this tour so much, because this is exactly what you guys have been asking for. This has been in popular demand for quite some time, and that means that Clarke and Freya Sky will be returning to the stage. And I am incredibly honored to be here for each and every single one of you, every single person who ever said they were a fan of Descendants and Zombies, to be covering this for you. Now, of course, tomorrow night in Fort Worth, Texas is the finale, the grand finale of the Worlds Collide Tour Leg 1, and I was incredibly honored to be a part of this past summer because this has been the greatest summer of my life. And I don't have any regrets for having been here every single night of the summer talking about Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide, because it was the best on-stage concert performance that I think I've ever seen in my life. I give this a 5-star scale perspective rating because this honestly was something that blew my mind and never failed to. I didn't have any doubt in my mind going into the concert that this was going to be an overwhelming success. I'm sure it had critics that were really all there to criticize the Worlds Collide Tour, but the more that I think about it, this Worlds Collide Tour really exceeded the expectations of every critic out there. And I am so proud of Freya Sky. I am so proud of Clarke for showing up at a high performance level with so much pressure on their shoulders and making the most of every single opportunity and this chance to really showcase their true ability as singers, as actresses, and this is why they are a part of one of the most successful franchises and certainly some of the most revered in history, of course, Descendants and Zombies, which definitely, in my opinion, if you look at the numbers statistically, High School Musical holds the record for being the greatest Disney Channel series ever revered. But with 17.5 million people who watched the High School Musical 2 premiere in 2007, I think that without a doubt, this is the most popular and most discussed in conversation right now, because some of the most beautiful friendships of all time have been happening because of Descendants and Zombies. You know, some of the most beautiful friendships of all time start with, are you a fan of Descendants and Zombies? That's how the conversation begins, and people stay friends for the rest of their lives. And I think that is really, really cool. I think that is an admirable quality that Descendants of Zombies has presented us the chance with, is to create beautiful friendships off the same interests, off the same passions. This is why I give Clarke and Freya Sky a profound amount of credit for really showing up and putting out there that friendships really do stand the test of time. And I think that that's been proven to be more true than ever with Descendants of Zombies in the overwhelming popularity and the reviews, the raving reviews it's received within the first 2 months of the premiere of the concert. And I think we have not seen the last or heard the last of your favorite stars, because we have a long way to go, especially with Zombies 5 not suggested to happen until summer 2028, which feels like forever away for a lot of people, but at least every day of your life you will have this show. And if it means that I have to create Zombies and Descendants videos every day for the rest of my life, I have no issues with doing that. I see no problem in being your host of a Descendants and Zombies podcast on YouTube, because as I said here yesterday, I don't know why Disney doesn't go out of their way to create a Descendants and Zombies podcast for every single person who ever was a fan of these two franchises, because they're the most revered in Disney history. I think the second most popular Disney franchise of all time was Wizards of Waverly Place, with 11.2 million viewers for the Wizards of Waverly Place movie back in, I think, 2010. So that wasn't yesterday. So we had High School Musical occupying the number one spot. Coming right behind it was Wizards of Waverly Place, a show that Clarke was very fond of. Had the honor to meet a lot of the stars of the original Wizards of Waverly Place cast. So Clarke's resume definitely speaks for itself. And if you ask me, Clarke is deserving of every opportunity she's been given because of all the criticism she has received. I'm sure a lot of you kind of can relate to Clarke because you're, of course, in a new school year now. You're facing the pressures of peer pressure and bullying all the time. And I want you guys to know that you're doing a fabulous job. You know, you're there to get your education, you're there to learn, and you're there to grow, and you're there to learn something new every single day. You're not there to be held back. You're not there to be held down by criticism that you may be receiving. I say this because I've been through the same kind of situations that Sophia Carson and Clarke and Freya Sky have faced in their lifetime. It got so bad for Sophia Carson years ago that she actually had to transfer schools. And I know what that feels like because You're backed into a proverbial corner. You can't make sense of the situation that you're caught up within. All you know is that you're there to learn and you're there to achieve something. And the moment that you do achieve something, and you realize that this happened for a reason, that's when you stand back and you say, oh my God, did this really happen for me? So believe you me, by the time the school year ends and you achieve your goals and you accomplish your dreams, that is the greatest feeling in the world. And I know this firsthand because I wanted to be someone who would have his voice heard more than anything else in this world. If there was one thing I wanted to go down in history for being, it was the greatest of all time for having his voice heard on YouTube or his radio show back in 1999. And in 1999, it was really hard to start a show and, you could only hope that your voice was going to be heard. So after years of searching for a specific niche that would love this show and love my opinions on it and my advice, I fell into the niche of Descendants and Zombies, and I've never left since. I've never left since because of how incredibly passionate you guys are about Descendants and Zombies and your favorite stars. I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't instantly fall in love with Freya Sky, because you did. I got that from your reviews of Victor and Nova, ever before I saw them, a part of the Zombies cast. And it was almost as if when they walked into a room and they had their chemistry tested by Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly, they knew they were going to be something special. The writers and producers of Zombies knew they had something, and it was going to be something that we were going to talk about for forever. I would imagine 20 years from now, we're still going to be talking about Victor and Nova, we're still going to be talking about the Zombies franchise, and we're probably going to be up to about Zombies 15 by how popular it is. 20 years ago, I say this because 20 years ago, if someone was to come to me, a writer and producer, and say 20 years from now, after all the success you've seen as a journalist, you're going to be sitting in your office every morning talking about Descendants and Zombies, I don't know if I ever would have believed that person. But lo and behold, this is what's brought me to all of you, Descendants and Zombies. This was my true calling, and I love this so much. I love being able to talk about Descendants and Zombies in the way it's been meant to be talked about for a very long time. Because Descendants and Zombies has seen its fair share of criticism, and somewhere along the line, down the road, I became very frustrated with all the criticism that Descendants and Zombies was receiving, because I felt as if you didn't deserve it, and the stars of the franchises didn't deserve it, especially having their political point of view, and every kind of rumor dragged into the conversation about what may be happening between people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker. Their friendship has pretty much been dragged through the dust. And because their friendship has been dragged through the dust and seen its fair share of criticism, I am here to put a stop to it. And I'm here to ensure that Freya Sky goes down in history for being the next Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift. Because her music kind of represents Ariana Grande to me. And that's coming from one of the biggest Ariana Grande fans in the world. On social media every day I'm watching Ariana Grande music videos, and I'm thinking about Freya Sky and how big of a star she has yet to become. And I am incredibly excited for the future of Freya Sky, because her past songs and this new song, Gold's Gone, is a beautiful representation of who she is. And not only did she get to showcase her character Nova as part of the Worlds Collide tour, but she also got to showcase herself for who she truly was. And there's no greater honor than jumping out onto a stage for the first time ever, debuting yourself for how you want to debut yourself as. So it got me to thinking about creative freedom, and how stars of the past on Disney Channel never did have that creative freedom. It's only now that the stars of Zombies are getting a little bit of minimal creative freedom to do with it what they want with their characters, and I really love that about Freya Sky, how she's just there to promote herself. I think her debut album was beautiful. I think songs like Gold's Gone is a really cool vibe, and she's definitely going to be a huge pop star for Disney. I was reading down through the comments of the Gold's Gone music video just last night, and a lot of fans believe that she is going to be the next Disney pop star, and I really believe, I'll go one further, I'll take it a step further, I really believe that she's well on her way to becoming a Taylor Swift kind of reputation, because she is just someone who is receiving rave reviews. Everybody is so excited to see her, and I'm excited to talk about her on my show. I've never been this excited to talk about a celebrity in my life. It's been years since I've talked about a star like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez, because I really felt as if these stars that Disney were promoting for shows like Villains of Valley View and what have you really weren't offering us what we wanted to see from a Disney star, really not what we wanted to get and what we wanted to experience. But I think that, because I think the argument will forever and always be presented that people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker and Ruby Rose Turner and now Freya Sky are the last of a generation. And what I mean by that is Disney will never have stars like this again. And I really believe that Disney will never see stars like this ever come through the door ever again. This is the last of a generation, and this is a moment in history. If there ever was a time that we were all going to be a part of history, I really believe that this is the time now that we are going to be a part of history, and it's history that we are never ever going to forget. 20 years from now, we're still going to be talking about Disney's Descendants and Zombies, and we're still going to be singing Disney's Descendants and Zombies songs off these soundtracks. I think the reason for the delay of Worlds Collide Tour Part 2 is because they're waiting on the soundtrack for Descendants Zombies to drop, for new music to be presented for Leg 2 of the concert. Of course, they're heading overseas, and the reason because they're heading overseas is because they want to, their desire is there to expand the global market. And I think in heading in parts of the world like Germany, Australia, and the United Kingdom is the perfect way to do this. So when I read rumors of this just last night, I was incredibly excited about it. I didn't have any confirmation about it, but apparently Disney wants this to be a 2-month tour. Of course, the original Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide tour lasted from July to September, I believe, and this is what's going to happen for Leg 2. It's going to be a 2-month tour. They're going to promote the hell out of it, and I really am excited about it because now the footage for the videos that are going to be uploaded on the social media platforms are going to be them on trains, them on boats, them on airplanes, sleeping. And that's where a profound amount of respect comes from me as a columnist and a journalist, because this is how far they are going to be pushed. So do I think they deserve to be criticized for how far they're going to be pushed? I really don't think so. I think that what's going to happen is when I see these videos of them on airplanes, boats, and trains crossing seas just to be a part of something incredibly special, I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to blow a gasket, because if they're faced with criticism, then I'm going to stand in front of every critic and they're going to open up fire on me, because I'm not going to allow your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars to be criticized in that way. If anyone has a problem with your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, they are going to have to go through me, because I am here to ensure the legacies of these stars will last for forever. That's all I've ever wanted to do, along with inspire people who watch these videos on my YouTube channel, because no commentator on YouTube goes out of he or she's way to talk about Descendants and Zombies in the way that I do. I mean, you might see an 8-minute video if you're lucky, with people giving praise where praise is deserved for the Descendants and Zombie stars. I look beyond where I can offer criticism to Descendants and Zombies and the franchises, because they don't deserve to be criticized. I mean, they are so young, they still have so much to learn, and every day presents a new opportunity for them to learn. So why take that away from them? Why are you watching the same 5 videos on YouTube but Descendants and Zombies? Because there really are only 5 videos that you prefer watching, because you want to shy away from the criticism. There is nobody on YouTube that gives Descendants and Zombies the praise it deserves. They just do these reaction videos for a music video or a specific scene they may have seen from Zombies or Descendants, and they talk about it. But they don't know the first thing about Descendants and Zombies. They don't know how to show appreciation for Descendants and Zombies. I don't care what sort of backdrops you have with posters and sweaters and hoodies, which you pretty much criticize because you don't like the material that the fabric was made of, or how the merchandise was created and distributed. I mean, give me a break. Everything you could find or think about to talk about in the way of a negative review for Descendants and Zombies to provide us with criticism, you jumped at that opportunity. While a critic like me was here on YouTube trying to find everything that he possibly could to present a friendly vibe towards Descendants and Zombies, to give it the respect and show it the respect that it deserved. And I really wanted to come on here and I wanted to blast all these critics, but I shied away from it because I felt as if you guys deserved better. I wanted to present the Worlds Collide Tour for what it was worth, its true value, because it came off as such a huge inspiration for so many people from all walks of life. I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't feel inspired by the Worlds Collide Tour. Many of us had to resort to watching it on YouTube because, of course, our financial state was not the greatest. We couldn't afford tickets to the Worlds Collide Tour, and the budget for the Worlds Collide Tour is going up even higher, and the demand is going up even higher for Leg 2, because ticket prices are expected to start anywhere from $200 to $250 maximum. So, of course, depending on what package you have, it's going to be a financial strain on everybody's wallet. But I think that even though it's going to be a financial strain on a lot of people, with very few accommodations, I think it's going to be a moment in history, and again, history that we are all going to be a part of, and there is nobody out there that's not going to make this supreme sacrifice for people to be a part of it that they love so much. Because I can tell you from personal experience, for not having a daughter of my own, if I had a daughter of my own as crazy about Descendants and Zombies as all of you guys are, I would sacrifice everything I would give a heart and a half just for my daughter to be a part of this experience. And I would go with her, and I would make sure that it was the greatest time of her life. I would buy her all the merchandise, the hoodies, the sweaters, the t-shirts, watch her dance to her favorite songs and her favorite moments that would be staged on stage as part of the production. And I would just be thankful to be caught up within the moment of Descendants and Zombies, because the thing about Descendants and Zombies is Descendants and Zombies created so many beautiful moments for people who felt so passionate about it, for people who wanted the moment to last for forever. And that was something that was truly inspirational to me. It was just how everybody who was a part of the Worlds Collide Tour felt as if it was a moment that they wanted to last for forever. You know, this is why I can talk about Descendants and Zombies for forever, because it means so much to me, just as much as it means to each and every one of you. So rest assured that if these stars are going to be faced with criticism for leg 2 of this tour, by the time they head overseas to Germany, Australia, and the UK, I will be standing in front of these critics ready for them to open a fire and to face their criticism head on. Because I believe that you guys deserve better in the way of reviews about Descendants and Zombies. You guys deserve to hear nothing but the best about Descendants and Zombies. You know, no matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always thinking about the Descendants and Zombies fans and, you know, what you guys are watching on YouTube when I'm never here. The thing is, I want you to watch the best videos possible. I want those videos to be provided for you so you're not watching the same 4 or 5 videos that you love that's probably produced by Walt Disney Records for the music videos and what have you, and the interviews. Because I feel as if, you know, even interviews that the Descendants and Zombie stars are doing, they're afraid of what they can and what they can't say, and they're presented with a piece of paper of here's what you can and what you can't say. They're under so many restrictions. And I've always wanted to alleviate that pressure off of their shoulders. Because when you have someone as incredibly beautiful as what Kylie Cantrell is, and how Kylie Cantrell wants to perceive herself, Kylie Cantrell wants to perceive herself not only as the red character, but she also wants to perceive herself for her true worth. She wants to show you guys who she really is. And you see that every single time she's on TikTok, because oftentimes she becomes very emotional, because she wants you to know how she's feeling. And I think that is an admirable quality that I think more celebrities should possess. You know, oftentimes I've wanted to meet people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose just to let them know that everything is going to be okay and the support is here for them even when they don't think the support is here for them. Because there actually is a guy on YouTube who actually believes in Kylie Cantrell, who actually wants to support Freya Sky for what they're truly worth. And that is an inspiration to each and every one of you. You see, I know what it's like to be each and every one of you. I know what it's like to love your favorite stars and want to see them have the best experience ever as part of the Worlds Collide Tour, as part of the Descendants and Zombies franchises. I, for one, love seeing Freya Sky have fun. And when she had that emotional breakdown during the performance of Gold's Gone at the Worlds Collide Tour, when she was introducing us to herself for the first time ever and they had all the special effects, that's what I was waiting on. Because that showed me that that was a real person with a true heart breaking down on stage and having an emotional moment with each and every one of you, because she never wanted that moment to end. And I hope she has many more moments like this, regardless if it's part of the Worlds Collide Tour like 2, this coming fall, or at some point in her life where she continues to have emotional breakdowns during performances of herself. Because I think there is no better way for you to perceive yourself as the true person that you actually are. And I really give Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky a profound amount of respect and credit for being able to do that, because nobody else would have been able to do that under the same spotlight as what Freya Sky and Kylie Cantrell have been able to do. And I may be just saying this because I've watched Kylie Cantrell's videos on YouTube ever since she was 10 years old. And I'll be honest with each and every one of you, I loved every video that Kylie Cantrell ever put out on her YouTube channel, because it really showed us just how dedicated she was to her performance level. She always wanted to bring the best out of herself, but not only out of herself, but out of everybody she ever worked with. And we saw this with the Descendants cast, because the most beautiful friendship of all time between Kylie and Malia was derived from Descendants: The Rise of Red. Oftentimes it was really hard to shoot fight scenes between the two of them because they were so emotionally connected to each other and they shared everything with each other. I even can recall a time when they went through 2 of the most brutal breakups at the same time. They were breaking up with their boyfriends at the same time, and they were there for each other. And it just goes to show how dedicated they were to each other's friendship and how much the friendship meant to each other. And then all these critics on YouTube were criticizing them. Again, if I have to stand in front of all these critics this summer and take bullets for each and every one of you, which I pretty much have done, I will do it all over again, because I really do believe that there's a lot of passion that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. You see, there's a certain pride that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies, and if you don't have that certain pride, then talking about Descendants of Zombies, the purpose of what you're trying to do is really defeated. And I think that by uploading a simple reaction video for a music video such as Dream Come True, which was a music video that was supposed to introduce us to Victor and Nova, and what they were going to mean to the Descendants of Zombies franchises, which was a whole lot, because they're carrying on the legacies of Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly, per se. I think that this really says a lot. So if you're I've always believed that if you're recording a video about something like Descendants of Zombies, as powerful as this, I think what you really got to do is you really got to shy away from just doing a reaction video filled with criticism, and provide fans of the franchises with commentary, to at least give them hope, if you're going to give them anything, about how there's a chance that we could see Zombies 5 earlier than expected, with a release window being suggested now as far as 2028, which is forever away. Or the hope that Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, could be the biggest movie that we could ever see in the franchise. It's really hard for me to believe that I've been talking about Descendants of Zombies for already up to 20 minutes this morning. That's how much fun that I have talking about Descendants of Zombies. But rest assured, I will be back later on this evening with another podcast on Descendants of Zombies, which I invite you to join me for. If you're wondering, I am incredibly excited about the forthcoming year for Descendants of Zombies, because I think as big as 2025 was for fans of Descendants of Zombies, and still remains to be, I think that 2026 is going to be the biggest year ever for the Descendants of Zombies franchise and its fan base, because of just how incredibly supportive you guys have been of Descendants of Zombies. I mean, the reality of this is, with all the criticism that we have been faced with for being Descendants of Zombies fans and huge supporters of it and loving it for forever, the reason why Descendants of Zombies is in the position it is to take over is because of each and every one of you. It's not because I decided to upload Descendants of Zombies videos to a YouTube channel and you guys just mysteriously fell in love with the videos overnight. It's because of the love and support that you guys have shown Descendants of Zombies. This is why Leg 2 of Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide is a huge rumor now online. Apparently on the Facebook website, on Meta, there's a big write-up of it, and I'm really excited about that, because I've been reading rumors of this ever since Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Part 1 received so many great reviews. I am incredibly excited to see what the future has in store for the Descendants of Zombies universe, what kind of storylines will be created off the new characters being introduced from Encanto and Princess and the Frog, and to be revealed what's inside of that vortex, because people early on have been making so many cute, adorable predictions, from mermaids to pirates to witches to sirens have been suggested. I would go for anything being inside of that vortex up to this point, because you guys deserve a sequel to every moment in Descendants of Zombies, and you never deserve to have the door shut and slammed on your hopes and dreams. So I'm trying to keep that door as widely open as possible for predictions to be made, for a whole lot of fun to be had with the Descendants of Zombies franchises, because I really do believe that if you want to believe that mermaids are going to happen out of that vortex and the consequences of it, then have fun with it. You know, don't let these critics tear down your hopes and dreams for Descendants of Zombies, because there is so much fun yet to be had being a part of these franchises. And I just want to be a part of these franchises for just a little while longer. If it were up to me, I'd be a part of these franchises for forever and always. In 20 years from now, I'd still be talking about Descendants of Zombies. Because I think, as I just said, there's a pride and a passion that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. And I think a lot of people don't really necessarily show up on their YouTube channels with that same pride and that passion that exists in my heart to talk about Descendants of Zombies, because I know how much these respective franchises mean to every single person who ever proudly said they were a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because the support that I've seen for Descendants of Zombies coming from its fan base is a never say die, never quit on you attitude. Because the people who love these videos that I upload have never quit on me from the very first video that was uploaded. Some of the first 150 subscribers I ever put up on this YouTube channel are still here with me a year later, and I am incredibly appreciative of everybody who has been a part of this journey that you girls have had me on from the very first moment. A girl showed up at my door on Halloween one year dressed up as Mal, and she told me to go watch Descendants of Zombies and create a bunch of videos on YouTube for Descendants of Zombies, and ran off into the night. I have no idea where she is out there in the world tonight, but I just simply want to say thank you for offering me inspiration to talk about Descendants of Zombies, because without her inspiration, I don't know where I'd be. I know I wouldn't be here talking about Descendants of Zombies because of each and every one of you. You guys brought me back from out of obscurity, And I just want to say thank you for always loving and supporting these videos about the Worlds Collide Tour, predictions on Descendants 5, reviews of Descendants 4, The Rise of Red, reviews of Zombies 3, Zombies 4, predictions on Zombies 5, whatever I was talking about. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you've shown this YouTube channel, because I honestly don't know where I'd be without your love and support, which I honestly can't live without, and I can't do this by myself, because it's one thing to upload videos about Descendants and Zombies, but when you're getting so much love and support from your niche that you've fallen into, because you guys made me your voice of Descendants and Zombies, that really means so much to me, and I can never seem to put into words how appreciative I am of each and every single person who ever loved Descendants and Zombies and loved me when you didn't really even have to take a chance on me, and you did. So I will return later on this afternoon with another video on Descendants and Zombies. We will talk about either one of the franchise, possibly both, like we do all the time. I'll shed some more light on the rumors about Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour. Of course, the finale is coming up tomorrow night. I will be here tomorrow night as well for the finale of the Worlds Collide Tour to discuss it even more in detail. And I invite you to hit like and subscribe to this video and to this channel if you haven't already, because I have a lot to say where Descendants and Zombies goes, because I am the biggest fan of Descendants and Zombies on YouTube. I know we hear this a lot, but I am the biggest fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I'm an even bigger fan of you guys, because you guys are the reason why this YouTube channel was created, you're the reason why this YouTube channel happens, and you're the reason why Jonathan Clarke exists as your voice of Descendants and Zombies. Thank you guys so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart, from one heart to another. Stay calm and zombie on, everybody. We'll talk again in just a few hours from now.